Vietnam is investing $16 billion in a brand new airport on land twice the size of Manhattan, designed to handle over 100 million travelers. Some of its numbers even eclipse JFK, but when a blank canvas like this claims to be bigger, does that actually change what matters in aviation or just what we measure? The details challenge more than you might expect. 40 kilometers east of Ho Chi Minh City, a stretch of land larger than many global capitals has been cleared for construction. This is the site of Long Thanh International Airport, over 10,000 hectares set aside for a single purpose: to build an airport not just for today's needs, but for decades ahead. The difference is visible from the first blueprint. Instead of adapting to crowded city edges or squeezing between highways, Long Thanh starts with open space. Hiram Architects, a Korean firm chosen for both vision and technical depth, designed the airport's core around a symbol deeply rooted in Vietnamese culture, the lotus flower. But the choice is more than decorative. Each terminal, shaped like a lotus petal, is a self-contained unit, nearly 400,000 square meters in size. That is enough floor space for 25 million passengers per year per terminal, with 4 terminals planned in total. This modular approach is intentional. Rather than a single sprawling concourse, each terminal can operate independently or in tandem, allowing the airport to grow in phases as demand rises. If you enjoy understanding why countries invest billions into projects like this, not just how big they are, consider subscribing. This channel breaks down the ideas shaping the future before they become obvious. The clean slate site means there is no need to work around existing buildings or roads. Expansion corridors are built into the master plan. The vast area is not just for runways and terminals, but for future rail links, logistics parks, and solar energy fields. The scale on paper is striking, but the philosophy behind it is what sets Long Thanh apart. Instead of layering new infrastructure onto old, every element is designed from the ground up for flexibility and resilience. The lotus motif, chosen after a national design competition, gives the airport a sense of place, but the real story is the operational logic beneath. Standardized terminal footprints make staff training, maintenance, and passenger flow simpler, advantages that only multiply as the airport expands. With no legacy constraints, Hiram's team could prioritize wide taxiways, clear sightlines, and efficient connections between airside and landside operations. The airport's footprint is a statement. When you start with enough land and a long view, you do not have to compromise. This is the foundation for what comes next. A system built not just to be large, but to adapt, scale, and stay relevant as aviation evolves. On December 15th, 2025, a Boeing 787 touched down on a freshly completed runway at Long Thanh International Airport. This technical flight was more than a test of concrete and lighting. It was proof that the airport's first phase had moved from blueprint to reality. 4 days later, the airport's Corporation of Vietnam hosted a formal technical inauguration. The event marked a rare moment in aviation, a new airport built from scratch officially welcoming its first flight operations. The scale of this achievement is measured not just in milestones, but in the deliberate sequence behind them. Long Thanh's roadmap is structured around phased growth, each stage unlocking new capacity as demand rises. The airport will open to commercial traffic in the first half of 2026, starting with a handling capacity of 2.6 million passengers per year. This cautious initial phase allows systems to stabilize and staff to master new technologies before ramping up to higher volumes. Phase 1 is designed to be deliberate and controllable. By the end of 2027, capacity is set to expand to 15 million passengers. With the full Phase 1 build-out designed for 25 million, the plan does not stop there. As each milestone is reached, a new runway or terminal comes online, eventually scaling to 4 runways and 4 terminals. The final vision is 100 million passengers annually, a figure that places Long Thanh among the world's largest airports by design. Final vision guides each step. This approach is intentional. Rather than overbuilding and hoping for demand, the project uses a modular, scalable framework. Each terminal is a near identical unit, making it easier to add capacity without disrupting daily operations. The same logic applies to runways and logistics infrastructure. Expansion corridors are already mapped, so growth can happen in parallel, not in fits and starts. The airport's Corporation of Vietnam, as the operator, has anchored this process in technical discipline. Every phase is tied to operational readiness, not just construction targets. The technical inauguration in December 2025 was a public checkpoint, but dozens of behind-the-scenes validations had already taken place. Airside systems, baggage handling, smart operations centers, and biometric controls were all tested under real-world conditions. Technical checks were completed before the public milestone. Long Than's progress is measured in these concrete steps, each milestone a signal that the airport is not just planned for the future, but actively building toward it. This is the logic of a system designed to scale, adapt, and stay relevant, no matter how quickly the world of aviation evolves. At the heart of Long Than's master plan lies a kind of freedom that most legacy airports can only imagine. The site's sheer size, over 10,000 hectares, gives planners the rare ability to separate airside and landside functions with room to spare. The first runway, 4,000 meters long and 60 meters wide, was built to the highest international standards, capable of handling the world's largest aircraft without compromise. This is not a retrofit or a workaround. It is a starting point. 3 more runways are mapped into the blueprint, each positioned for parallel operations, so that maintenance or unexpected closures never force the airport into gridlock. Compare this with airports hemmed in by city boundaries, where every expansion means negotiating with neighbors, rerouting highways, or even demolishing entire neighborhoods. JFK sits on just over 2,000 acres in Queens, surrounded by dense development. Any attempt to add a runway there would require not just political will, but a fundamental reshaping of the city itself. At Long Thanh, expansion is a matter of unlocking the next phase. Land is already reserved, and taxiways and terminals are spaced to anticipate future growth. Optionality is built into every decision. Redundant runways mean that flight schedules are less vulnerable to a single point of failure. Wide corridors between terminals allow for future transport links or logistics hubs, rather than forcing retrofits that disrupt daily operations. The question is not just how big an airport can be, but how many options it can preserve for the decades ahead. In aviation, that flexibility may prove more valuable than size alone. Vietnam Airlines stands at the center of Long Than's operational blueprint. As the country's flag carrier, it is tasked with anchoring the airport's long-haul ambitions, moving intercontinental flights from the crowded Tan Son Nhut to a purpose-built hub. This is not just a matter of shifting gates. For airlines, the decision to reroute is driven by what the airport can offer behind the scenes: reliability, efficiency, and future-ready systems. Vietjet, Vietnam's leading low-cost carrier, takes a different approach. Its business thrives on rapid turnarounds and high aircraft utilization, making the airport's modular terminal layout and streamlined operations attractive for quick regional hops and maintenance operations. The core of Long Than's promise is its smart infrastructure. Biometric gates and automated baggage systems are not retrofits, they are embedded from day one. Passengers can check in, clear security, and board without the friction of paper documents. For airlines, this means reduced dwell times and fewer missed connections. The Airport Operations Control Center, known as APOC, centralizes every moving part, aircraft, baggage, security, and even ground transport, into a single nerve center. This integration allows for real-time adjustments, minimizing delays that ripple across airline networks. Yet there is a caveat. Until the planned rail links are operational, every passenger and crew member must rely on the expressway linking Ho Chi Minh City, Long Thanh, and Dao Jie. The airport's success in its early years will depend as much on the reliability of this road as on the runways themselves. For Western viewers, the impact is clear. When a new hub like Long Thanh enters airline planning models, it quietly reshapes global routes, affecting everything from ticket prices to layover choices, even for travelers who never set foot in Vietnam. Airports like Long Thanh are not chasing legacy. They are designing for what is next. As global air travel shifts east, the real contest is adaptability, not size. What matters now is who builds for the future, not the past. For aviation, the definition of big is changing before our eyes.